Coyotes. What the heck is a coyote? I heard Sandra muttering at her workstation. I frowned for a moment, confused. What do you mean, what is a coyote? They're like wolves, right? 4 legs, long nose, always chasing roadrunners? I didn't think Sandra was all that bright, but everyone knows what a coyote is, don't they? No, it's to do with the murder. It says here that children are being smuggled into the U.S. by coyotes. She pointed at her monitor emphatically. Who says? What are you looking at? Police chief news conference, statement yesterday. I saw it on the news last night and it's in the paper this morning. Don't you read the news? Not if I can help it, I muttered to myself. I opened a Google search page and typed in coyotes immigrants and hit search. A split second later and I had 1.2 million results with the Wikipedia definition at the top. With a mental shrug, I clicked on that link and opened the new web page. Says here, a coyote is a person who smuggles immigrants across the Mexico-United States border. Migrants pay coyotes a fee to guide them across the border. Well then, now we both know what a coyote is, don't we? Looks like it, I answered. What else was there to say? I closed the Wikipedia page and search pages and tried to refocus on the 5-page long legal description I was in the middle of retyping. The mission. I am dreaming? I was back in the White Room. Alone again, I turned my head left and right, looking for my mirror self, looking for anything, really. I felt a sense of something coming or soon to be. I waited. Just at the moment I thought, well, what am I doing here this time? I saw her there, standing before me. She smiled at me and raised her palms toward me, bending her knees and sitting down. I understood the invitation and sat facing her, ready for whatever was to come. She didn't hold anything in her hands this time, at least not yet. I wasn't sure why I was dreaming this place again and hoped it wasn't just going to be some loop of repeating the earlier dream sequence. I looked at her, one eyebrow lifting in inquiry. You stopped receiving information about the current state of your planet intentionally. It was a statement, so I didn't know if I was supposed to make any kind of reply, and I wasn't even sure what the statement meant. She clarified, you don't read or listen to news anymore. She lifted her hands to make a quote frame in the air. Aha, now I got it. Absolutely. No reason to feed that energy. It's all just noise anyway. She smiled but shook her head. You did that to protect your fragile emotional and mental bodies after so long, allowing that energy to define you. I nodded, so she continued. There is something you need to do now. I could hear the emphatic tone in her statement. Okay, I thought to myself. Why me? I couldn't help asking. And what is it exactly that I need to do? You have a gift that no one else on your planet has at this time. I winced visibly. That didn't sound good at all. You are the only person living now that can use the lens effectively. You are the only person now alive who can even receive and understand this information. Great, was all I could think of to say. She laughed gently. This is not going to be an easy assignment or task, but your world will be greatly benefited if you will take this on. I scowled. Sounds like 007, your mission, should you choose to accept it. She smiled again. Your James Bond would not have been up to the task, but you are. Still, it is a choice. You have free will. You can say no. And that would be it? No more weird dreams? Back to my normal life? Well, no, she replied. You know now that this is so. So while the dreams would stop, you would still know. And that, unfortunately, has changed your life forever. So much for free will, I muttered. She raised one hand towards me. There was a consensus. Intervention was not optional. The call had to go out, like water bursting from a dam. There was no choice. It was decided to make contact with you to give you the information and let you make your choice as to what to do with that information. You are tired. You need to rest now. Wait, just tell me what this is all about first. I wasn't about to go through all of this just to have it put off until some future time. After a moment, she continued, with this information, your police will be able to see the evil and stop it from continuing. I thought about that for a moment, then nodded. I could feel myself slipping out of the dream and let it go. I didn't have any more information than I had before as far as I was able to see, but I was tired. I could feel the migraine there waiting for my return and found myself wishing I'd asked about that before she left. With that thought, I woke up. The toy. It was his pride and joy, the ultimate definition of what it meant to be a man in his prime. The Maserati 4200 Spider GT was where he went when he needed some way to expend his energy. Top down, gear shift cool and smooth in his hand, he always drove very sedately around town. He'd heard that red cars garnered particular attention from law enforcement, and he had no desire for that. Letting the breeze caress his face, his hair blowing artfully behind him, he nodded and smiled at pedestrians and other drivers when they stared and gawked as he drove by. Yes, he knew he was beautiful and worthy of their praise, but it was not his place to be putting on airs. They were, after all, unnecessary. The car's interior was a delicious deluge of cream, with the leather seats, weather-resistant floor mats, and plush carpet all blending together, and accents of gold, fake, but still gorgeous, on the dashboard trim and console. Driving in his car was like driving in a dream, where he rode the clouds and commanded the element of wind, in which he maintained religiously. He had a boy he paid $10 per day to detail his baby inside and out, paying particular attention to the car's interior. Every time he got in his car, he expected it to smell, to look, to feel, just as it had when he drove it off the showroom floor. That had been an experience he loved reliving over and over.